What's good, America? TyIzDaName. If you don't know, now you know. If you still don't know, then you just might be slow. And we are reacting to 7 signs that you're
Call you
intimidating. 7 signs you intimidate people without realizing it. Like, comment, subscribe. Trying to do more reactions and stuff for y'all and get some more type of content coming out. Get more consistent and do as best as I can. Send videos to my Instagram. Everything's in my bio on my channel.
People call you intimidating. You weren't even trying. And if you're an introvert, you've probably heard it more than once. Cold, intense, hard to read. But here's what nobody tells you. There's actual psychology behind why this keeps happening. Have you ever been in a room with someone who wasn't doing anything, not talking over people, not making demands, not even trying to stand out, and yet something about them made everyone just a little more careful? That person probably didn't notice the effect they were having. They like you, this video is going to explain something most people spend years not being able to put into words, because introverts don't intimidate people on purpose. They just have a way of doing it without trying. Here are 7 signs you're one of them. Sign 1. Your silence is comfortable for you and deeply uncomfortable for everyone else. Most people treat silence like a gap that needs to be filled immediately. It's not that they have something important to say, it's that quiet feels like something went wrong. Research published in Psychological Science found that even a few seconds of unexpected silence in a conversation triggers a measurable anxiety response in people, and they instinctively move to fill it, often by saying something they didn't plan to say. You don't have that reflex. You can sit in silence because you're actually thinking. To you, that silence is productive. To the person across from you, it reads like a verdict, and they don't know what the verdict is. And suddenly you're the one being called cold or intense for simply not performing conversation on command.
Why are these videos? Why? I feel like I'm being attacked, chat. Why is this? Why? Let me keep watching.
Sign 2, you don't engage in drama. And that registers as a
Do I intimidate? If y'all see me, am I intimidating? Am I intimidating? Let me know.
threat. In most social environments, there's one unspoken rule. The louder your emotions, the more people trust you. If something bothers you, you show it. If someone crosses you, you make sure people know. Drama isn't just conflict. It's how people signal they're emotionally readable, predictable, safe to be around. When you don't do that, not because you don't feel things, but because you'd rather think before you react, people don't know what to do with you. They can't get a rise out of you. They can't guilt you into changing. And someone they can't predict, can't pressure, and can't read, that makes them nervous, even if you haven't done a single thing wrong. One woman learned this firsthand. A coworker decided she was boring because she wouldn't keep small talk going. They pushed. She didn't give them the reaction they wanted. So she said 4 words that shut it down completely. I'm not your entertainment. I'm your coworker. Not aggressive.
That's more than 4 words. I'm not your entertainment. I'm your coworker. I'm your coworker. I'm your coworker. That's 7 words. 7 signs.
Not loud. Just someone who didn't need that person's approval. And the coworker had no idea how to respond to that. Sign 3. You ask real questions instead of performing conversation. When someone asks how you're doing, the expected answer is fine. Nobody means it. Nobody wants the real answer. Small talk isn't about connection. It's a social handshake that says, I'm friendly, I'm safe, I won't go too deep. You skip past that. Not to be rude, but because your mind genuinely wants to go somewhere real. So you ask one question the other person wasn't expecting. Their energy shifts, Their answer gets careful, and later they describe you to someone else as kind of intense. You were just curious, but to them, it felt like exposure. Research on introvert cognition shows that introverts process information through longer, more complex neural pathways before responding, meaning they're absorbing more before they speak. What looks like hesitation from the outside is actually depth, and when that depth shows up as a question that cuts past the surface, the other person feels it before they can explain why. It doesn't feel like curiosity to them. It feels like being seen before they were ready. Sign 4. You keep your emotions controlled. And people read that as not caring. This one cuts deep. Because the truth is almost the opposite of what people assume. You feel things, possibly more than most, but you've learned that letting emotions take over in a heated moment usually makes everything worse. So you stay calm. You respond from the rational part of your mind, not the reactive one. You don't match someone's intensity just because they're escalating. And here's where it goes wrong. Psychotherapists who study introvert-extrovert conflict found a consistent pattern. The introvert stays logical, the extrovert reads that calm as they don't care, and the conversation falls apart. Not because of the original issue, but because...
Bro, that literally happens to me so much. Like, I knew I was an introvert, but like when I be having serious conversations, people will always just be like, bro, you just don't even care. Like, you looking like you do not care. And people get mad with me all the time. And I'm like, bro, I care, but like, I'm just trying to process what you're saying. How are you mad at me for trying to process what you're telling me?
One person needed emotional mirroring and the other person didn't give it. So in that moment, your self-control looks like coldness. Your composure looks like contempt. The very thing you worked hard to develop, the ability to stay steady under pressure, gets read as indifference by the person who needed you to match their energy. You're not cold. You're just not performing distress to make someone else feel less alone in theirs. Sign 5. You read people before you say anything, and they can feel it. Before you say a word, you've already noticed things most people miss. The slight hesitation before someone answered, the shift in their posture, what they said carefully versus what slipped out without thinking.
Yeah, when they just say something. Bro, this is me. Am I intimidating?
You're not doing it on purpose. Your brain just naturally takes in the full picture before it responds to any part of it.
Right.
Dr. Jennifer Kahnweiler, who has spent years researching introverted leadership, calls this one of the most underestimated social skills, the ability to read a room without needing to dominate it. But here's what happens on the other side. We're wired to notice when someone is watching us closely, and we automatically assume it means we're being judged. So even when you're just genuinely paying attention, the other person feels like they're under a microscope. They get uncomfortable. They call you intense. They call you unnerving. What they actually mean is, you saw something I wasn't ready to show. Sign 6, you have a filter. And people can sense they haven't passed it. Yet introverts don't let everyone in. Not because they think they're better than anyone, but because real connection takes energy, and they'd rather invest that energy in people who are actually worth it. So they...
Facts! That's me! That's me! That's me!
Watch before they open up. They wait before they trust. They don't hand out warmth like it's free. Most people sense that filter within the first few minutes, and how they react tells you almost everything about them. Some respect it. They understand trust has to be earned, and they're okay with that. Others feel it as rejection and quietly decide you think you're too good for them. Psychologist Ana Maris Mendoza found that strong personal boundaries, worn naturally without apology, can come across as arrogance to people who've never had to earn someone's respect before. But what they're actually picking up on isn't arrogance. It's discernment. The quiet confidence of someone who knows their own worth and won't give unlimited access just to make others comfortable. And here's what makes this sign different from everything else on this list. Every sign so far has been about something you do or don't do. This last one isn't about behavior at all. It's about something you simply don't need. And for a lot of people, that's the most
Gratification
unsettling thing they've ever
from other
encountered.
people.
Sign 7. You don't need their approval. And nothing is more destabilizing than that.
I'm intimidating, huh? I'm intimidating, huh?
This is the one that runs the
I am.
deepest. Most social dynamics run on an invisible exchange. You validate me. I validate you. Approval becomes power, and whoever can give it or withhold it has quiet control over everyone who wants it. You don't play that game. You don't need the room to like you to feel okay being in it. You can sit alone with your thoughts and feel genuinely content, not
Fine,
performing
perfectly
contentment, actually experiencing it.
Feeling
To someone
fine.
whose self-worth depends on external validation, that is threatening. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because the usual tools don't work on you. The social pressure, the subtle disapproval, the expectation that you'll shrink yourself to fit in. None of it lands. Clinical psychologist Carla Marie Manley found that the people we find most intimidating are usually the ones who expose our own insecurities. The fear that we don't measure up to someone who seems completely self-sufficient. You're not trying to trigger that. You're just not performing neediness. But in a world where almost everyone does, the absence alone makes people uncomfortable.
Right. It makes people
Here's what
feel
nobody tells
weird and stuff.
Being called intimidating isn't a compliment or an insult. It's what happens when someone meets a person they can't control, can't predict, and can't read. And they don't have the self-awareness to realize that's their problem. Not yours. You're not
Right.
cold. You're not broken.
It's not me.
You just don't perform for people. And in a world where almost everyone does, that alone makes you rare. There's an old saying, watch out for the quiet ones. Most people say it like a warning. Maybe it's just the truth. The people who found you intimidating weren't responding to a flaw. They were responding to someone who didn't need them. The right people figure that out, and they stay anyway. Which sign hit closest to home? Drop it in the comments.
Yo, I just want to say, are you intimidating? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video. Who's intimidating, who's not. I don't know. I guess I'm intimidating. I felt like a lot of this stuff that's pretty weird. I wonder if I intimidate people. I probably do. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Send me some more videos. Have a good day. We're gonna watch another one. Bye.